And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Before the break, Craig called and had a Honda, and he had a challenge with the timing belt. And he could have an internal engine damage issue, but he won't know until after he puts it back together. But let's just say that you're in a position to where you have a used car and it needs, say, head gaskets. And you say, well, gosh, what's it going to cost? Well, let's say it costs $2,000, $2,500. Or you need a transmission or whatever. Now, you know the condition overall of your vehicle, because you're the one that drives the car and you have the history of and its medical records, okay? So when you have a catastrophic failure, let's say the water pump went out and you didn't know it and you were on the highway and you were trying to make that last half mile to the exit, and a block from the last half mile, the engine melts down. And so you put head gaskets, but then the piston and the rings are gouged, which is what happens when you continue to drive an engine that until it actually either locks up or runs so poorly that you're forced to stop. So you look at that and say, well, should I put a used engine? Well, not a bad idea, really, as long as you buy a used engine with a warranty, and it costs you a little more, but always buy a used engine or transmission with a year's warranty. If the shop that's installing a used unit in your vehicle doesn't offer that, then check it with another shop, because that's the only way you should put a used engine in your vehicle. Now, getting back to should you hold them or fold them is really what this boils down to. Well, what we say is we consider that when you're in that position, you're buying your own car back. Now think about this, folks. Let's say you have car A on your left, which is yours, and it needs $3,000 spent on it. And you have car B, which is about $3,500 to $4,000. And it's a used car, of course. Do you buy the used car at $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 and junk yours, or do you spend the $3,000 and buy your car back? Well, it depends. Number one, if you bought the other one, even for $3,000, it's an even swap, right? You don't know the condition of the used car, especially one that has a lot of miles on it and it's only $3,000. So what you're doing is you're buying a big question mark. So whenever you're faced with that decision to buy your own car back, or faced with that decision where you have a large repair bill, get with your service shop, your technician, a service manager, owner, someone that you have a good rapport with. If you don't have one, establish one now. And you're right there in your own hometown, and say, okay, I'm going to be buying my car back. Let's look at the records of my vehicle. And you should know this, but most people don't. Let's look at the records of my vehicle and see what health, the overall health of the vehicle is. Because if you can put a transmission in a vehicle, let's say it's $2,500. Well, you amortize that $100 a month. That's a couple of years, more or less, that you're paying $100 a month for your own car. That's okay. That's palatable. Granted, you're $2,500 out of pocket today, but you're riding today versus buying what could be a big question mark with a used car. Because when you buy used cars for $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, unless you know the history of the car, unless it was handed down in the family or some estate sale or something like that, folks, you're just buying a trouble. More than likely. Okay, we'll take a call from Kansas, and